Okay, now let's go over calling a void method, but this time with parameters, also known as arguments. They're synonymous and you can use them in most contexts interchangeably. What if we want to call, like last time in our method make announcement, we had actually no arguments inside this pair of curly braces because the method had no arguments or parameters present inside the method's declaration in the point.java file. So we can't really pass anything in. What if a method requires something to be passed in? Alright, let's look at the main.java file to start with again. And we can see that we're instantiating a current location object of the point class. And we're passing in these 2 points, 23 and 94. And we can see that there's a constructor here for them. You can see public point. It's taking the x and y value, but we're actually doing something inside the constructor. We're setting this x and this y value to the variables xpos and ypos inside the point class. So we can store these variables and use them later. So this is how we can pass in arguments 23 and 94, and we set xpos and ypos equal to those arguments. That's basically how we can use instantiation of objects and passing in arguments into those set of curly braces in order to initialize these attributes present inside the class. Alright. Now let's go on to this line in the main.java file. We're using the current location object, the dot notation, to signify that we're going to use the move method, which has arguments 50, 50. So it has 2 integers. It takes in 2 integers as arguments. And then we can see that the actual method declaration inside the point.java file has a method called move. It's a void method still, which means it's never going to return anything. And then we can see we have 2 arguments. An integer called x, it can be called anything though. Integer y called y, although it can be called anything as well. So this move method takes in 2 integers as arguments, and in our case, we gave it the values 50 and then 50, and it takes those 2 values and it sets xpos and ypos equal to those values. So xpos would now equal 50 and ypos would now equal 50 if we use the move method with these set of values.